What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Mediascope Be More I am so excited because we have a great guest today who's going to help us to level up on visuals on social media and otherwise. Let's go.
Close the doors, walk across the corridor. We got something to show you. Media is our repertoire.
My friends, as I said, we have another guest today. How lucky are you? Another guest in such a short time span, and another great guest. Today, I am so happy to have with me Steffan Kaplan, all the way from New York City. Steffan, are you here?
I am. Hello, Dr. Totsi. How are you?
I'm fantastic, my friend. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing just fine. I'm really excited. It's been a really great week. You and I were on a very similar show the other day with Ross Brand.
Yeah, Ross
And
Brand.
Yep, you got the party started, and then I came on and I did my thing. But I said, let's get one day we're going to end up in the same room, and there's going to be that spontaneous combustion of energy.
and here we are, but I don't know if they're ready because this is going to be a lot of energy.
a lot of energy, but I'm ready. So let's do this.
Let's do it. Thank you so much once again for being on. Give us a little bit about your background. You have such a great background in terms of photography. So share with us what you've done.
Sure. So, I come from a background in journalism, first of all. I was a photo editor at the New York Times for many years, 15 plus years. And the one thing that I decided to do after that was I jumped into social media. And as of the past 10 years, I've been a social media and visual consultant and now a live stream producer as well, even somebody with my own show called the Spin It Social Hour. So, and I'm also an educator. I teach at FIT in New York, and I'm also an executive coach. So you weave all that together, and that's where I'm at now because, we all have to evolve and be better. So, as you say, and I listen to your ers, and I love them. I'm wearing my shirt right here.
Yes,
Be more
Steffan. Yes.
And the one thing that I'm always trying to do is get better. And the one thing that I did this year during the pandemic was I upped my game, and I led by grabbing the bull by the horn, so to speak. And I jumped into the live streaming game thanks to the StreamYard platform being such a great platform to use. And they now are a sponsor of my Spin It Social Hour. So that's really exciting. So, I wove it all together, the journalism, the communications, the networking, the photojournalism. For many years, I've been a photojournalist now. I documented the NYPD for 10 years. My photos are on Law and Order, the SVU unit, and they're also in the Museum of the City of New York and the Police Museum. So that's where I am.
What don't you do? I mean, I guess there's no such thing as stay in your lane with you because every lane is your lane, right?
I don't stay in my lane. The only time I stay in my lane is on the New Jersey highways because I now live, I'm a born and bred Greenwich Villager, but I now live in Ramsey, New Jersey, up north near the Ramapo Mountains.
Yeah. Wow.
So when I'm on the highway, that's the only time I stay in my lane.
And we thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So let's get into it. Let's talk a little bit about what we can do to actually be better with our visuals,
Sure.
Because we're going to get into Spin It Social in just a few.
Sure.
But let's talk about what we can do or some ways, some tips you could give us to be better with our visuals on social media.
Right. Well, let's start with what I teach a lot. I do a lecture series around New Jersey called Better Practices for Smartphone Photography. I lecture at library. That's another thing I do. I lecture at libraries around Bergen County. But anyway, so let's start with some things that you could do to up your game. That's what we're here for, to be better with your smartphone photography.
Yes.
Let's start with the settings. You have to get into your settings on your smartphones, and you have to start to learn how to set things better, like the resolution and what's called high dynamic range. And you want to learn some of the editing options on your phones. And you want to do one of the biggest things, which is learn to be a better editor at the things that you take and look at everything you've taken before you put them out there in social media land. So, starting with the settings, you want to always set your smartphones to the highest resolution possible. Now, there's a million phones out there, so I can't get into every detail because we'll never get out of here. But the thing is that you want to be able to look to on your Google how to set highest resolution on whatever phone you're using and do that. Do not be concerned about sucking up memory, because you can easily then upload your photos to Google Photos up in the cloud and clear your phone, and then you don't have that memory problem. Also, you could get an unlimited plan like I have and never have to worry about memory again. So between unlimited plans and Google Photos, you're set. Second thing, you want to learn about what's called HDR, high dynamic range. You want to be able to use HDR. Always have it set on your smartphone, because with HDR set, you're going to make your photos pop and look really great. They don't make them fake looking. They just make them pop more. The next thing you want to do, and you always want to have HDR on, the next thing you want to do is learn about the different editing options on your phone, including saturation, brightness, and contrast. You want to look to be able to use and bump your photos up a bit, because the sensors in your smartphones are really dynamic and they're great at capturing things in low light. By the way, always have your flash turned off. I encourage people to do smartphone photography, any photography, without a lot of flash. In fact, I say never use your flash with smartphones, because the flash is horrible. They've never come out with a phone with good flash. So use the low light sensors in your phone, which are really dynamic, and they will get you great low light photos.
So just to interrupt, even
Sure.
without using the flash, if you're in a low light sensor
Right.
situation, if
Right.
you use the low light sensors, you'll get a good picture without graininess.
Yes, you'll get some, but it depends
Okay.
on how low light you're going.
Okay. Okay.
So it really depends on how low light you're going. So look for that. You know what I always tell people, Dr. Tachi, is check things. Do a lot of experimentation.
Okay.
Don't just take photos when you need them. Take them when you don't need them, and
Ah.
keep experimenting everywhere you go. If you're in low light, take some photos to see how they'll come out.
Okay.
If you're somewhere where it's really bright, take photos and learn how to use angles better. If you keep experimenting and then throw them out if you don't need them, of course.
Right.
But keep experimenting so that when you need to be on point and better when you're doing the photo at the time you need it, then you're on point. Because if you don't, then you're going to do it when you're like a deer caught in the headlights. You know?
Right. Right. Okay. I'm sorry. I just wanted to clarify that. So
please.
keep going with your tips. Keep going, please.
So those are some of the tips when it comes to your smartphone. The other thing is learn how to compose photos better. So turn on the grid option on your phone if you're not used to doing things differently. If you're used to taking photos dead on, like you're holding your smartphone like this, and you're looking dead on, okay, fine, but you're going to get the same boring photos all the time. You want to learn how to do things differently. You want to use angles. You want to twist your phone a bit and use angles like this or this. Doing things in live stream, you always have to move it a little here, but you want to twist the photo up a little, or you want to hold the phone parallel to the sky like this and buildings, and you want to try to get angles. Now, you don't want to do that with people's faces, of course. No crazy angles with people's faces. Nobody likes that. But you definitely want to do that with buildings and nature and other things. So be creative, get really creative with things and try new angles.
Scope of you emotionally broke. Settling our knowledge and conversations. Don't make